SpaceX's spacesuits are insane. Now, what happens if you get an itchy nose in space? Since astronauts cannot remove their helmets whilst floating about the void, a small piece of Velcro is fitted into the inside to serve as a nose scratcher. These space scientists, they've thought of it all, like fashion. Spacesuits have had quite the evolution. Whilst the pumpkin-colored iconic NASA suits are still going strong and spacesuits have come a long way since late cosmonaut Alexei Leonov's first spacewalk in 1965, the team at SpaceX have placed just as much emphasis on slick aesthetics as functional design with their newest spacesuit, an EVA suit designed for the agency's Polaris Dawn mission. For anyone out of the loop, Polaris Dawn is SpaceX's private human spaceflight mission, which aims to conduct the first ever private spacewalk with the help of SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule. Impressive stuff. We'll be delving into the meticulously designed unique features of SpaceX's new suit, fit for a moonwalk or two, as well as a much-needed explanation of different types of spacesuits and their applications. 1. Different types of spacesuits. What is space like without a spacesuit? Breathtaking. Wah. As in, you die without the correct one. Anyway, the newest addition to SpaceX's range of suits is known as an EVA spacesuit, or an extravehicular activity suit. EVA spacesuits are designed for use outside of a spacecraft and are to be worn when astronauts are floating in space. In some ways, EVA spacesuits are more of an engineering challenge than a spacecraft itself. They can even be considered a person-shaped spacecraft, responsible for monitoring and protecting the wearer from the harsh conditions of space. They are responsible for monitoring and protecting the wearer from the harsh conditions of space. They are orders of magnitude more complex than other types of spacesuits and require additional protection against the likes of debris impacts, temperature extremes, radiation, and the sheer lack of oxygen in space. Without some sort of umbilical tube to a steady oxygen supply or life support backpack built into an EVA's suit's design, astronauts would be screwed. As well as EVA spacesuits, there are also IVA or intravehicular activity spacesuits designed solely to be worn inside a pressurized spacecraft. IVA suits are much lighter and more comfortable than their outside the craft counterparts, and are limited in their capabilities, primarily affording the wearer with the option to alter their oxygen and pressure levels. IEVA spacesuits, as you may have guessed it, are meant for use both inside and outside the spacecraft, such as this Gemini G4C suit. These suits are able to weather extreme changes in temperature as well as protect an astronaut from micrometeorites. A lump of rock hurtling towards you at 70 kilometers per second? No biggie, IEVA spacesuits have got you covered. 2. SpaceX's latest spacesuit design. So what's so special about SpaceX's EVA spacesuits? It's hard to know where to start. First things first, before we get to the super mind-bending technical stuff, let's talk visuals. There's a reason why SpaceX's suits look straight out of a movie set. SpaceX's visionary Elon Musk has had Hollywood designer Jose Fernandez, responsible for costumes in Wonder Woman, Wolverine, Batman vs. Superman, and Captain America, as his agency's spacesuit designer since day one. SpaceX's suits have a cool, all-white, all-in-one zip-up design that outshines the competition. Images of SpaceX's first IVA spacesuits were so sleek and slim that the public was genuinely doubtful of their in-space effectiveness, leading Elon Musk to post, "It definitely works. You can just jump in a vacuum chamber with it, and it's fine," on his Instagram account to clear up any confusion. At altitudes above the Armstrong limit, the boundary of space at around 19,000 meters, water boils at body temperature, and the body quite literally inflates. To prevent one from boiling instantaneously or risking looking like a Violet Beauregard doppelganger traversing the cosmos, pressurized suits are necessary. When a spacesuit is pressurized, it blows up like a big balloon till it is rigid. Since the suit is completely sealed, movement can put a great deal of pressure on joints. In the past, mechanical bearings were added to the larger joint areas of the suit to increase range of motion, whilst rubber pleats were added to the suit for smaller joints like the joints of the fingers or metatarsals, if we're going to get fancy. External valves and hoses have been eliminated from SpaceX's suits, making for a more streamlined fit that perfectly matches the wearer's body. In fact, each suit is custom made to fit the exact proportions of every crew member. When a suit isn't made to measure, more dexterous movements can be painful. SpaceX's tailor-made suits make for great ease of movement and are much kinder to the body considering how the joints of each wearer will be aligned perfectly with their spacesuits. That's not to say that moving in a tightly sealed tube of air is easy. Crisscross tensioners have been added to the fingers of SpaceX's EVA spacesuits to allow the joint to bend inwards in a naturalistic manner. The pressure of the suit then helps the individual wearer to extend their fingers outward again, similar to how your hand moves when squeezing a stress ball, or how a spider's legs move through the power of hydraulics. The gloves are also touchscreen sensitive, so a little more advanced than your average arachnid. In the past, astronauts would have to engage in a practice referred to as pre-breathing, involving inhaling oxygen for several hours to get rid of all the nitrogen in the bloodstream before donning on their spacesuits. What a dull way to pass the time. SpaceX's EVA suit, however, has a higher concentration of oxygen in it than others to eliminate the need for pre-breathing, and to make sure the wearer doesn't suffer from decompression sickness. It is how this oxygen level is adjusted that is so impressive with the new suit's design. The chemical makeup of the air inside the suit can easily be tweaked via onboard life support systems, a bit like Alexa or Google Assistant, but for the air's composition rather than a request to blast life on Mars en route to the Red Planet. This is achieved via the inclusion of new and improved gold-plated, nylon-covered, silicon umbilical cables. Elon Musk is really putting the mother in mothership. Other examples of how integration with the Crew Dragon capsule is woven into the suit's design can be seen through the numerous ways that high levels of radiation are mitigated. A journey to the moon or Mars is riddled with hazards, one being radiation belts. The Van Allen radiation belt sits at an altitude of 1,400 kilometers from the Earth's surface and is a necessary zone that any moon-faring creature must travel through. Any spacecraft that does pass through this region will be subject to some high-intensity radiation. It's no coincidence that, of the 36 astronauts that traveled through the Van Allen belt, 33 eventually developed cataracts. If a spacecraft was not fitted with material shielding to offset high radiation levels, and the crew on board didn't have suitable suits to protect their bodies, we're talking suppression of hemopoiesis in bone marrow, acute radiation sickness, as well as an increased risk of cancer, to name a few. To protect the crew from dangerous levels of radiation, the SpaceX's EVA spacesuits feature a 3D printed helmet that expertly protects the wearer's eyes from radiation. Another radiation preventative feature is the fabric of the suit. It is made from polyethylene fabric, which is rich in hydrogen and chosen due to the material's ability to absorb neutrons and starve off radiation rays and space debris impacts. SpaceX has well and truly reinvented the spacesuit, taking it from its giant Cheetos-esque humble beginnings to a sci-fi tuxedo with all the trimmings fit for a keen space cadet. Who knows what Musk and his minions will come up with next? Solar panel sleeves? Surround sound stereo and Wi-Fi to the nearest moon base? 3. Fit for a trip to the moon and maybe Mars. Not all heroes wear capes. Some wear spacesuits. SpaceX's new EVA spacesuit is far more than a sci-fi inspired getup for a Hollywood set. It is a testament to human innovation, the symbiosis of man and machine, the cherry on the cake of how we sent mankind to Mars. Although we may well be at the mercy of cosmic expansion, Astronomy Revelations is staying put. If you've enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to stay in the pulse of all things space.